Hello, everyone. I'm gonna try something new. This is called WALD Masterword, and it looks like it's a combination of, uh, shoot, what's it called? Wordle, but it's you're given, yeah, it's sort of a variance of Wordle, I think, where you basically are given certain letter combinations and you're told which ones have letters in the right place, um, and letters which are in the word but are not in the correct place. So to read the actual rules, or that the words that basically Doc Logic comes up with, and this is created by Doc Logic. The solution is a word consisting of four different letters. First in puzzle A, then in B, then in C. You will find the solution with the process of elimination logic. Next to the words above, you find the following hints. White on black is the amount of letters which are in the solution and already on the right position. Black on white, which is the second digit in this column, is the amount of additional letters which are also in the solution but at a different position. And he says it's not hard. Come on, give it a try. So I wanna try this. Let's see if this gets. Let's see if anybody likes this. Anyways, let's go. We have walled with one in the right position, bomb with one in the right position, and one that's not in the right position. Farn, which is one in the right position. Hund, which has one in the right position. And wolf, which has one in the right position. Okay. So, because Farn and Hund have n in different positions, and they have one right with nothing else right, n cannot be the correct solution. Same with Baum and, well, Baum has two digits that are right. But one's in one right position, one is not. So that could be a U. B is nowhere else. M is nowhere else. So one out of F, A, and R is in the right position. Okay. So Farn and Wolf both only have one digit in the right position. F is in different positions there. So F cannot be the right answer. So it's A or R is in the right position. If it's R, that means we know the other correct letters. If it's R is the right digit, we know the other correct letters cannot have an A because A would not be correct. It would have to be from BUM. 2 would be from BUM. And 1 would be from WL or D. Okay. So 2 would be from BUM, and 1 would be from WLD. Well, it couldn't be L. It would be W or D. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So Farn and Wolf both have, again, Farn and Wolf both have F, and they're in different positions. So F cannot be the correct positioning. So it must be W, O, or L is in the correct positioning. If it's O is in the correct positioning, A cannot be in the correct positioning at all. If it's W and L is the correct positioning, well, WALD also has W and L in the correct positioning, so A cannot be in the right position no matter what. Because WALD only has one letter in the right positioning and no other letters. Wolf has one letter in the correct positioning and no others. So again, if O is in the right position, A can't be in that position and be correct. So A is incorrect for WALD. If W and L are the right positioning for wolf, that means WALD has both W and L in the right positioning, which means A, again, cannot be in the right positioning. So it must be R is the third position here, because A, we've ruled out N being correct because it's in the right, it's in two different positions in two separate, right, it's in the right position in two separate, two separate words which only have one digit, one letter correct. Same with F, right? So N can't be because it's in Farn and Hund and they're in different positions. F can't be because it's in Farn and Wolf and they're in two different positions. And we've just shown from Wald and Wolf, because F can't be the right digit, W, O, or L is the right positioning and the right digit. If it's O, A can't be because it's in the second position. If it's W or L, WALD also fits that, and it also only has one digit. So therefore, A again could not be there. So R is in the third position then. We know that for certain. So we have R, we have 2 out of BUM. We have 1 out of WLD. Okay. D cannot, well, D could be. If it's O here in Wolf, that means it has to be D in WALD. We know N doesn't have it. So we know R is in the right position. We have 2 out of B, U, and M. And one of them's right positioning, one of them is not. If U is the one that's not correct in the correct position, that means Hund would have to be correct for the U. That means D would not be correct. And H would not be correct. So you have WALD. Right. You have 2 from Baum again. Say you had B. That's not true. A is definitely not correct. We know that for certain. Because it's not in the right position ever. And it's in 2 words which already do not have a different like we know R is basically in the correct position and the correct letter. So A cannot be. F, A, and N cannot be. Therefore, 1 out of W, O, or L is in the right position. If U is in the correct... Okay, so Hund cannot have N be in the right position. It could be H, U, or D. If it's U, that means U is in the wrong position in Baum. So it must be U, R, and either B is in the correct position or M is in the correct position. That would mean O is not in the correct position, so W or L is in the correct position. L can't be in the correct position. Oh, L can't be in the correct position at all. So it's either W and O for wolf, or W and D for WALD. That's interesting. So that means if U is correct for Hund, it would be WUR and then M. So it would be worm if that were the case. If U is correct. If U is not correct, that means B and M are correct. What does that? B and M are correct. One of them is in the right spot. And can O ever be correct? If O is correct, that means W and L are not. So that means W, A, and L are not. So D would have to be correct. So you have O in the second spot, D in the fourth spot, R in, so it would be ORD. But bomb wouldn't have two of those letters be correct. So O can never be correct. It has to be one out of W and L. And if it's one out of W and L, D cannot be correct. So we know N and D are not correct. If we had H out of Hund be correct, that means B and M couldn't it be H berm? H bum? Sorry, H berm. I mean, that's not a word, technically. So worm matches with WALD at W. Worm also matches correctly with M at Baum and U, but incorrect positioning. Worm matches with Farn in the third letter. Worm matches with Hund in U, and worm matches with wolf in W. So that works. But what about HBRM? HBRM, doesn't match with anything in WALD. Right, so it can't be H. Because that necessarily needs to have, okay. So it has to be worm. Okay. So worm is the first letter in the B set. So we have worm, Tier, Dorf, Holtz, Igel, and Pafad. Worm doesn't have anything that matches Tier, Dorf, Holtz, Igel, and Pafad. Oh, no, it has R. Never mind, it has R. But R has to be in the R is in a different position for worm and Tier. So that cannot be the correct letter. So R is not the correct letter. That means worm has 1. That means the other letters must match only 3 of them total. So R is not correct. That means, okay, so Tier, so Holtz, Tier, and Pafad, I don't think those have any shared letters, right? Tier is T-I-E-R. Holtz has H-O-L-Z, which is not T-I-E-R. And Pafad has P-F-A-D, which doesn't match. So those must be the 3 distinct letters. Obviously, R doesn't work. W-U-M doesn't match any of those. Doesn't match Tier, Dorf, Holtz, Igel, or Pafad. So that means Igel has 2 of them. And Dorf is separate from Igel, so that has 1. So from Tierholz and Pafad, we have 3. Dorf and Igel have 3 also, and they're also 8 different letters. So what's the overlap? So Z cannot be a letter. We know R is not already because Worm and Tier have them in the different positionings, but they only have 1 correct letter in the correct positioning. Z cannot be for Holtz. H can't be. So it's either O or L for Holtz. Pafad, P doesn't work. A doesn't work because it's not in Dorf and Igel. So P doesn't work, A doesn't work. It's either F or D. So F or D is in the correct positioning. So F or D for Pafad. It's H. I'm sorry, it's O or L for Holtz because H can't be. And Tier has to be at least tie. G doesn't match anything else. So G is not correct. So 1 out of I and E is correct. But E in Igel, if E were correct, E and Igel would have to be in this, would be correct in that word, but it's not because there are 2 incorrect positionings in Igel. So it cannot be E, it must be I. So I has to be in the... So we have Worm, the second one is something I, and we have also L, right? Because it cannot be G. G is nowhere else in the list. It has to be L. And L is in the wrong position there, since L and Holtz then has L in the correct position. So it's I and L as the second and the third letters. Worm has 1. R is not correct, so it's either W or M, which is first or last. Pafad has 1 in the correct position, but P doesn't work, A doesn't work, F is already substituted by an I, so it must be D at the last position. So we have WALD for the second, the B Masterword. So we have WALD as the last one. It has 2 digits correct, 1 in the right position, 1 not. Elch has 2. Hayes has 1. Calt has 1. Kits has 2. Nest has 1. Okay. Wild shares with Elch. Elch and Kits do not have overlap, right? ELCH does not match any of KITZ, and they have 2 each. So those are 4. So they must be from ELCH KITZ. ELCH. So L matches wild. KITZ. I matches. So it's L and I. L is not in the correct position in Elch. Okay, so for wild, I and L are second and third. One of them is in the correct position, one of them is not. L cannot be in the second position. I could be in the first position. So we have 1 more letter from ECH. We have 1 more letter from ECH. And Hayes matches only H and E from that. So we have 1 from H and E. Kits matches with K. Well, we know L is correct. Oh, and L is in the wrong positioning in cult. So L can't be second, L can't be third. So WALD, that means L is in the wrong positioning. I must be in the correct positioning. K and T, cult only has 1, and we know L guaranteed has to be one of the letters. So K and T are ruled out. Therefore, we know we have a Z. So we have Z, I, and L. Z has to be in the wrong position. I is in the correct position. L is in the wrong position in second or third. So Z could be first or third. I is second. So we could have Z, I. We have an L. Either, L would be first or last. One of H or E is there. And then we know T doesn't have, is not correct. But it has to have 1 from nest. So it has to be E, and it's in the wrong position. Well, obviously, I is in. So, we have Z, I, L, E are the letters. E cannot be first. E cannot be second, because E is in the wrong positioning in both of those. Z cannot be last. And L cannot be second or third. I is definitely second. So I is definitely second. E can be third or... Oh, no. E... Hayes, E can't be fourth. So E is third. So E is third. Z can't be last, so it's zeal. Z-I-E-L is the word. And that's the correct solution. There we go. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this Masterword. We're trying it out. We'll see if you guys like it. And I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.